Right. So, welcome everybody to tracc.eu. So, today we are having Track GT3 Cup. So I'm Psycho Kaiser, commentating with my fellow friend, Dirty Kohai.
Hello there, and we are of course joined by our very talented producer Amethysta.
Right. So today brings us to round 5 of the Track GT3 Cup Championship in Watkins Glen for the US American T-Prix. We'll be racing in Watkins Glen International, also known as the Glen, the Big G, or even the Bowling Alley. First opened in 1956, layout is more or less the same since 1971. We have 11 corners for the drivers to tackle, 5.4 kilometers long, and we are expecting some very competitive times, especially with our current championship protagonists currently fighting for the lead of the championship, Alvin Wong and Etron de Jong.
Alongside
practice has just ended, so we will be going into qualifying pretty soon. So, Kohai, tell us a bit more about this racetrack and what to expect for this round.
I think first things first, it's worth looking at our current driver field. So we shall start with our AM Championship with Ryoma Kirihara leading the championship with a 58-point lead. By 58 points, however, closely followed behind are in 57 and 56 points respectively, our second and third, Agustin Bata and Marcel Souks of Evis Motorsport, very close on the heels to Kirihara. It'll be interesting to see if Kirihara can either extend his lead today or perhaps the two teammates can work against Kirihara in what is a deceptively challenging track. However, just below that, you've got Gary Slater of Grip Runners Racing in P4 with 51 points. Fifth is Ivano Ikim Ali Baran Sensoi from Wild Things Racing. Sixth, we have sixth and seventh even-tied, Adrian Dubrovka and Tim Begren of Grip Runners Racing and Techno Burst Racing respectively. P8, also tied in points, is Nabil Nasran and Kaito Nasa of, again, Technoburst Racing and Blahai Cuddlers unanimous. That one a bit of a tongue twister for me today. And rounding out the top 10 of our AM points lead is Cosmo Marsh with 20 points. And then off to our pro class. As you were saying earlier, Psycho, we have Alvin Wong in the lead of the championship with a 14-point lead over his nearest competitor, Etron de Jong, with 76 points for Wong and 62 for Etron de Jong. However, again, will Watkins Glen throw a curveball in that mix for Alvin's current championship lead? Then in third place, we've got Nils Sentalski of In the Wall Sim Racing, closely followed in fourth by a single point by Ruby Nakamata of Queen's Design Pan and Formula, and Daryl Young of Wild Things Racing with 41 points. So quite a tight competition for the current third step of the podium in the Pro Drivers Championship at the minute. After that, we have Alex Curto on 32 points in sixth for Wild Things Cross Track EU. And then we have three other in the Simwall Racing drivers. Alvaro Vincente with 25, alongside their teammate and compatriot, Wan Shi Lin, again from In the Wall Sim Racing, both with 25 points. 22 points for Bob Poppet in ninth place, and rounding out the top 10 is Albert Georges from Queen's Design Pan and Formula as well. And that rounds out the top 10 of our Pro Class Championship. And now on to the teams. Leading the charge at the moment with 110 points is Evis Motorsport of Marcel Fuchs and Agustin Bata, previously mentioned in our other championship. Closely with a 20-point breakdown to Grip Runners Racing of Gary Slater and Adrian Dubrovka. Third, we have Queen's Design Pan Formula with 63 points of Ruby Nakamata and Albert George. Fourth with 60 points, so bit of a small gap there between the two, of Bob Poppet and Nils Sentowski of In the Wall Sim Racing 2. Fifth, we have Techno Burst Racing of Nabil Nasram and Tim Bergren. Apologies for the name today. Sixth, we have In the Wall Sim Racing with 47 points of Alvaro Vincente and Guanxi Lin. Seventh, we have Wild Things Racing tracc.eu racing team of Albert Curto and Julian Strasser. And rounding out the team's championship is Pulse Drive Racing.
Right, thank you, Kohai, for the rundown of the current standings as of now. So let's get back to our current track action. So at the moment, I believe we are in the middle of a qualifying session. So as I was saying earlier, we are in Watkins Glen, or of course unanimously known as the bowling alley, because of course we have turn 1, which is a downhill, downhill right-hander, and of course we had some history of some pileups or at least some incidents happening at the start of the race every time we go here. So it'll be interesting to see how this edition of Watkins Glen would bring to us for today's race. But yeah, Kohai, mind if I ask you, what to kind of expect for this racetrack in particular?
Well, fortunately for our drivers today, it seems we are in the more evening conditions, so hopefully our drivers should not have any major concerns with track temperatures and tyre degradation to a point. However, even in these conditions, the track can still be deceptively challenging. One would not think that a relatively flowing track can offer the challenges it does, but as we go on board with one of our drivers going through the S's along the back straight, it could be surprising seeing the limitations of the car show themselves.
Yeah, indeed. Now we're back on our broadcast for a bit as we see one of the Pan Formula racing cars that is, I believe, it's either Ruby Nakamata or Albert George. It's pretty easy to identify them just from looking at the flag that runs on the side of their rear wing end plate. So we were looking at Albert George, who's currently on his outlap. And yeah, if you're new here, of course, we have a 20-minute qualifying session, and then followed by a 1-hour race, and 1 mandatory pit stop for tire changes, no mandatory refueling, and of course, pit window will open 10 minutes into the race, and it closes 10 minutes before.
Indeed.
Yeah, so I believe we'll be looking at Albert George starting his lap, coming through the final corner. So far, yeah, everyone must have a good exit. They have to go really close to the wall, especially. But now we are looking at Albert George coming through, going downhill into a right-hander. That is turn 1, and then of course carry the momentum into turn 2, 3, 2 and 3, and then followed by a long back straight, pretty much before heading into the bus stop. So at the moment, looking pretty neat for everyone, and weather's looking pretty dry at the moment. There were some discussions about a possibility of rain coming into this race. So might be interesting to see how things would pan out. But so far, qualifying looks to be bone dry. Ooh, we got a spinner. Someone's in the middle of the track and promptly returned to the garage. Oh, could have been a disaster for George there. But yeah, maybe a few tenths lost through there, but I don't think it looks too bad at the moment. But yeah, still a bit early into the qualifying session, and yeah, we will be updating our standings in our current timings in a bit. But so far, it's looking like Asan Yanpire might have set a lap time, or probably not, because no times have been shown as of yet. But coming to the penultimate corner, being held up by a
Ooh.
Mustang, actually, and that will really affect George's time. And where's he gonna go? What lap time will he
I believe,
set?
and
Uh,
yeah, Albert does
yeah.
set a time. However, it does look like he is surrendering the track position after being held up by that Mustang there. I believe that was Daniel Boca. I cannot quite be sure
Uh,
off the top of my head.
I could see on
Believe
the
so.
timing. It's Katerinakis.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I
they're the
must
only
be
one
mistaken.
in the Mustang, at least on the timing at the moment. But yeah, now this timing's been updated, and currently we are looking at a very special writer, of course, driven by our returning writer master, that is Michael Thieringer. So you know. We like to wish welcome back to racing in track for Dieringer. But at the moment, I think he's looking to start his flying lap as he gave way to an Aston Martin of Tegabus Racing earlier, and yeah, it was actually quite surprising to hear that Gearing is returning, because I remember last time he raced in track in GT3 Cup, he had I believe he was driving a Lambo. Of course, we all know him for
Oh,
his really masterful driving the of the writer. But as we can see, actually, some raindrops have fallen onto the track. So yeah, wow, what
this is
timing for a lot of these people. So
yeah.
some of them have
This is
already, yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say this is really going to shake up qualifying because I was not aware of any weather patterns going into today's race. So, as someone that has driven the Glen quite a few times, most recently for the Watkins Glen 6 hours on another platform, rain can really make or break a lot of these corners because they rely quite heavily around here on nailing the late apex and using a lot, just managing the mechanical grip when the aero isn't quite there. So you've got, for example, as we're on board with Michael still in the right, going through the heel of the boot section, and some of these sort of lower speed corners do rely quite heavily on the mechanical grip of the tyres, and in these unexpected conditions, a sudden rainstorm, be interesting to see what our drivers can sort of make work with.
Yeah, true. I was gonna say that only a few number of people had set the times in the dries, so it will be a bit tricky for quite a lot of these drivers to improve, and hopefully the rain subsides by then. So and of course, since we have rain at the moment, let's just say we might have done a commentator's jinx for once, but.
Nothing for the commentators, Kurt. I believe I got in trouble for that one with V-Track last weekend, our other series. Goodness
Oh,
me.
that's fine. I guess that's fine. I guess it's my turn now. So, yeah, rain looks to be light at the moment, but it might be intensifying at some point. But so far it's pretty fine. I think some of the drivers are probably running still on dry tires. We hope not much incidents come out of it, but yeah, they have to be careful because slick tires and due to the nature of these corners, as explained by Kohai earlier, may actually affect a lot of these drivers as well. It can make or break a lap. So we can see Daniel Bocam. Oh, so there's another Mustang actually. Currently P23 with well 11.2 seconds away from provisional pole, pretty much. So yeah, I was gonna say as well as I look through the timing sheets at the moment. Kuroko, who's who's a debutant for this race, basically for GT3 Cup. It's actually in P5 right now, and of course, insider sources already um, have already pointed at Kuroko's potential findings, potential pace in the wets. So they might spring up a surprise in the wets as well, assuming if the track is still gonna be wet for the race itself.
Yeah, it's
All right,
quite a sudden downpour because we just got started in the qualifying session, then suddenly the heavens opened, which is something
yeah.
that isn't impossible in this part of the I believe New York State. But
Yeah,
it's
I was gonna
something that
say.
normally you can see quite a way off if there's a storm cloud incoming. This was quite a sudden change for the drivers, so although we may not see any faster qualifying times per se, and the fortunate few that were able to get at least one lap in, so our current pole sitter, Alvin Wong, Ruby Nakamata, Darryl Young, Etron de Jong, a lot of those that were managed to get in semi-representative dry laps in before the rain fell. I don't expect that we'll see much improvement or much change there due to these conditions. However, like we said, if the race starts dry, it could be completely different. If it starts wet, again, anything could happen. That's the challenge of racing.
Yeah, and last time we had a wet race, that was Alton Park, and that was in itself already a challenge. Drivers have to tackle, apart from drivers having to tackle the track, they have to tackle the weather conditions as well. As we see Cosmo Marsh sliding a bit through the final corner of the track, still keeping it a very huge distance to the wall, but currently they are in P12, actually P2 in the AM class qualifiers. So yeah, looking quite good for the number 2 Porsche as well. And as we see in P9 overall at the moment, we have Isaac Umbras in the Mercedes AMG. As they cross the finish line, I don't think they improved their time as of now. Maybe some of these drivers are out on track in wet conditions, maybe to get some running in wet weather as well. I mean, anything could happen for the race. Because like on one hand it could be dry in qualifying, and on the other hand it could be wet in the race. But yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's improving their times because of course wet weather will make these drivers have slower lap times. And a bit wide from Jordan Brunch, but I think as long as they get into the apex pretty nicely, a bit of a late apex there, should be good. Yeah. And now we see Jordan Brunch currently in 26th with Lexus. I'm not sure if that's actually in game or maybe he has his own livery, but at the moment he's having a return to the Lexus for this edition. So I believe he didn't participate in a few rounds, and now he's back. He's back in action for the first time this season. So coming through the final corner. Ooh, very close to the wall there. And what time is he gonna go for? Across the finish line into P24.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Jordan, I don't think that any attempts will bring him that far up the order, given the conditions.
Yeah,
it was really unfortunate, I think, for the drivers in their qualifying attempts that we had that sudden downpour. Because although the weather is now saying that the rain has stopped, it'll still take a few laps for the track to dry up, and it's going to be very much a challenge for anybody to put in a fast lap time, even though there is a dry line forming after that sudden and short downpour. Because I think we've seen this in other forms of motorsport before. I definitely remember seeing something similar in the likes of Formula 1 and other GT racing, where a sudden downpour really throws qualifying on its head, so to speak. So it'd be interesting to see that as the track dries up in these last 8 or so minutes, rounding up to give the drivers a chance to finish their laps, whether anybody can maybe jump up a position or two as the track's drying.
Yeah, indeed. And on the topic of real world motorsports at the moment, I was just checking through the news for a bit, and well, we technically we have Formula One going on with the qualifying with the qualifiers in Brazil. So I heard they had a downpour, which actually delayed the session. I'm not sure what's the update currently, but yeah. Almost the same conditions as right now, but probably heavier as well.
Yeah,
So
I can't speak
definitely,
for F1. I think we've all seen over the years that Interlagos itself has rather varied weather conditions, to put it politely. However, I think New York State isn't, to the best of my knowledge, isn't usually that wild per se. So the sudden downpour seems rather untoward. Although perhaps a local could correct me, because I do believe that some of our drivers are relatively local to this track.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some of these drivers competing are currently having their home race. So to name a few, we have Isaac Umbras. Okay, let's see. We have Isaac Umbras, Michael Dieringer, Kaito Nasa, and of course we have we have Paige Azari. So these four drivers are in their home race at the moment, and they are of course looking to perform really well for this round. And as we are riding on board with Alvin Wong, our current pole sitter and current championship leader, so far looking very comfortable actually. Like like 9/10 of a second, almost a second to P2, which is Tenko Mata in the BMW. So looking at the current qualifying times right now, De Jong seems to be in a disadvantageous position because currently he's in the second row of the grid, and two of the cars at the front will most probably be an obstacle for him to get through as well, since of course, as we all know, Wong and De Jong are currently fighting for the championship at the moment. So these two have been battling it out since the beginning of the season in Bathurst, and the fighting continued as well throughout the races as well. Like last week, last round we have very close there.
Yeah, touch of the wall there, which probably bled off a little bit of speed. Not ideal for Wong, but we'll see if. I cannot personally tell if they are on dry or wet tires.
They're on wet. They're on wets at the moment because they posted a 150. So their qualifying time is 1:43.3. So they have already done their laps in the dry just before the downpour happened.
Yeah, I was just in the back of my head hoping that the track would maybe dry up fast enough for us to get a couple of last minute dry runs in if anybody's feeling brave enough. But I guess given the time of day and the track conditions, that may not be the case. Still using a lot of curb over the exit there, making the car a bit unsteady, which is very brave to do in the wet weather. As someone that's driven both GT3 cars and prototypes in the rain, it's very brave if you touch the curbing. Very brave.
So does it spin you out a lot in the other sims?
It can do, yes.
Right, I see.
But we'd be here all day rambling if we were to go into the nitty gritty. But I think the drivers are pretty much posting the times they can as it stands.
Yeah, and I was also going to point out, actually, our current championship leader in AM, Ryoma Kirihara, is currently sitting in 24th. So quite a long way down as well for our current AM championship leader. And and now he's rocking in the Technobus Racing livery, seeing as he was named as a replacement to Tim Berggren, who will be departing the team mid-season. So he'll be joining our last round's race winner, Nabil Nasran, So these two, the Aston, they've been fighting each other last round, and actually last run has the advantage here. It's currently in P14, which is P4 in the AM standings at the moment. So not a good day for Kirihara to start around the bottom end of the grid, but
maybe not
what
the start Kirihara would have wanted, perhaps, but then again, as the sun is starting to come out in the last waning minutes of qualifying, we'll see if the track dries up enough for the race start, and we'll see how the drivers manage, because just because you have a bad qualifying doesn't mean you necessarily have a bad race. I know from my own driving experience, I cannot qualify to save my life, so I tend to have to make up a lot of the work in the race proper, and it's possible that Kirihara, if all things go to plan, touch wood for their sake, that may happen for them if they're fortunate. However, racing is racing. Anything can happen.
Yeah, definitely. And now, seeing that he's back in the he's back at Petrobras for GT right now, and of course partnering up with last round with his rival in the previous round. This could get really intense. It might actually spark up a lot of battle in inter-team as well. Because don't forget, they are in the battle for third in the team standings at the moment. So I can't wait to see how these two will pair up together. Maybe some cat fighting would go around on track, but of course we do hope that they respect rule number one, which is never take out your teammate.
Yeah, we wouldn't want any Ross.
Very understeery. Huge
maybe a little bit. Yeah, and they do surrender that lap to return to the pit lane.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing that Kirihara can do there, as we see Gary Slater, Gary Slater right now, still in P25, but I think with the track drying up, maybe he could cook up some pace at the moment. So coming through the second last corner in the dries, you could just downshift once and just go on the exit curb. Hopefully it's not too wet there.
All depends if I don't believe he'll hit the finish line in time, because with the average lap time around here being 1:45, and race control have decided that the session has ended.
Definitely. Right. So of course we are going to start our fifth round of the championship, and we shall go and do a grid walk, do a walkthrough of our current starting grid.
Yeah, indeed, and it will start off with Alvin Wong in pole, followed closely by Ruby Nakamata, Darryl Young, E-Tron De Jong, Kuroko, Wanshi Lin, Julian Strasser, Agoston Batter leading the AM class, Isaac Umbras, and Anthony Empire rounding out the top 10. P11, we have Albert Georges, Cosmo Marsh, P2 in AM class, Ivano Sensoy, another... in the Ferrari today, forgive me, I've seen them in the Reiter before, I confused myself. In third, Nabil Nasran in P14th overall, fourth in AM. Vasilis in, I believe that is the Mustang.
Yeah, it is the Mustang.
Yeah, Scott Brewer 16th overall. Maybe not the run they would have wanted, but weather conditions have been pretty spiteful today. Marcel Soux, P17th overall. P18 is Bob Poplet. P19, Tina Curtis. And Kaito Nasa rounding out the top 20. And then our final 6 drivers, definitely not enjoying the wet weather conditions, are Adrian Dubravka, Michael Dieringer, Jordan Brunch, Ryoma Kirihara, Gary Slater, and Paul Daniel Beaucamp in P26.
Right, so a 26 car for 26 car field for today's race. So definitely a lot can happen at the start. Of course, we have turn one, and now it is green for the formation lap. So of course, drivers have to go through single file. Um, and yeah, Alvin Wong looking to be in a very comfortable position at the moment, seeing as their championship rival is actually in P4 in the second row off the grid. So a bit of a quite a bit of a challenge for the latter to to mount a challenge towards the striking blue purple silver, I guess. Yeah, I don't know my colors, but yeah, the Aston Martin at the moment. But yeah, these two, like I said, have been fighting it out with each other for like throughout the whole championship so far. So yeah, and usually these two are in the front row of the grid. So now things are a bit mixed up because of the wet weather in qualifying. Of course, De Jong might have a lot more work to do on his plate. So yeah, and of course, Wong just has to get a great start, keep up the pace for the hour, and hopefully, negotiate through the traffic, and all should be their way then.
Indeed, but nothing is over until the checkered flag falls, and anything can happen, especially with such a jumbled up grid.
Oh yeah, a lot of the mix-ups are more towards the middle pack and towards the back as well. As I mentioned earlier, our AM Championship leader currently, Ryoma Kirihara, is sitting on the back foot of the grid because of the wet weather. So it'll be interesting to see how he would also negotiate through the traffic because, of course, he is currently the fastest driver in theory to. In the AM class.
I think it was just a very unexpected change of conditions for our drivers. But you know what they say, you have to when life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
If you get dealt a rough hand, you just have to go roll with the punches and see what you can pull out.
Oh, true. Of course. We all can't wait to see how this race pans out, of course. And if you're just tuning in to our live stream, first of all, welcome. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, you may do so. And of course, if you want to join us in our championship, so we have tracc.eu Cup, which is open to everyone on Simgrid. You may also head towards our Discord server as well, linked in the description. Right. So currently everyone's lining up for a double file, and they are coming through the penultimate corner to start round 5 of Tracc GT3 Cup in Watkins Glen. As we see, everyone's just slowing down into basically having to obey the I guess you could say pit lane limiter speeds at the moment. So a bit of a crawl, but of course now we wait for the moment where the green flag shows up. So Alvin Wong on pole position, and there you go, we are green. Right, Alvin Wong gets a bit of a disastrous start, but so far so good. Daryl Young diving down the inside of Albert George into P2. Alvin Wong so far looking so good. Etrop De Jong, oh no, there's been a bit of a collision at the back. It's Jordan Brunch. Currently down to P24, but yeah, right now there's a 5-car train heading towards the bus stop chicane along back straight. Some slipstreaming happening right now, but of course, who's brave enough to negotiate through the bus stop chicane? Oh, Albert George a little bit wide, going out of the bus stop chicane, and in the course holding up De Jong. But yeah, currently top 2
that was Ruby Nakamata and De Jong there for P3. But no,
yeah, Ruby Nakamata.
at the front with Daryl Young getting an early advantage, but you're right. There's a little bit of jostling in the field behind us.
Ooh, definitely.
Now Scott right on the rear of Albert Georges. We'll find the right BMW eventually. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Seeing if they can maybe sort of either maintain or convince an early gap between each other as the field gets into the groove, finds their footing. This first lap, fortunately dry for now, touch wood, because I'll only get told off if we get more rain later on.
Don't worry. But yeah, De Jong almost having a look towards Nekomata for a bit, and starting
lap 2. Very good run out of the final corner towards T1. Ruby we're in the centre of the track, but leaving De Jong enough space. E-tron thinking about going up the inside, but doesn't quite have the nose in, allowing Ruby to hold the outside line. Good stuff from Ruby, good stuff from De Jong.
Yeah, late braking as well from our reigning champion as well.
That did allow Wan Shi Lin to sneak up and gain a little bit of advantage as they go down the outside, looking maybe to try and get one up on E-tron. De Jong, not quite, has to brake early into the bus stop chicane. Or the outer loop.
Right, good stuff.
Inner loop correction, as they like to call it here. I call it a bus stop chicane because I'm a horrible person.
Yeah, so, definitely. I mean, I would call it a bus stop chicane as well. Technically, very challenging section too, but of course, so far everyone's been negotiating pretty fine. And yeah, there was a brief yellow flag. Not sure who was it at the time, but currently we are looking at De Jong, who's currently in P2 in the pro standings, and currently still where he started earlier. So he's still in P4, looking to chase Rupi Nekomata, and of course and Darryl Young, and then his championship rival at the moment, Alvin Wong, currently in the lead of the race, also has the fastest lap too.
So early advantage for Alvin Wong. However, I do believe that was Albert Georges, the number 61 car, that was the cause of the yellow flag in the bus stop. How exactly, I cannot say for certain. As we're riding out, Tina is very close to the Audi ahead of her. Very similar chassis between these two. Again, quick switch over to Scott Brewer, getting a slightly better exit than
Brewer gets split to turn 1, so that's fine. That's good and all. Oh, there's a bit of a dive from the Aston Martin for a bit of Nabil Nasran. Oh, Nasran climbing up positions, probably had a bit of contact with the GTR of Poplit, but yeah, he's currently looking to be in a pretty good spot at the moment, but of course he has to chase Augusto Marta, who is currently P7 overall, and of course in the lead in the AM class at the moment. So Tina Curtis, a bit of a
there, and
oh my goodness, what was that? Oh, a bit of a netcode, funny happening. But yeah, Tina Curtis into the wall at the bus stop chicane. So that will give Julian Strasser a bit of a breathing room. But of course, he's not in the green yet, because of course right behind him he has Kirihara. Actually, Kirihara made quite a lot of positions as well. So starting from P24. Now up into P5 in the AM class right now. So yeah, oh wow, really good progress as well from the Malaysian driver. But of course, he has to overtake the track man himself, Julius Strasser at the moment, and is looking quite good to defend his position. But being in a three-way fight, of course, he might be in a bit of a disadvantaged position. Well, not really, as we see Sooks giving way to Strasser, and that actually made Ryoma Kirihara go wide in the process. So yeah, that undid a bit of his progress as well for the Malaysian. So he has to try and overtake again, maybe. Right,
yeah,
so back at the front.
Changing in the first 5 minutes of this race.
Yeah, mostly in the mostly in mid pack actually. We see like a lot of shuffling going on in the mid pack and at the back as well. So at the front right now, we have Wong still in the lead of the race, and well, currently looking through the timing sheets at the moment, Dieringer also made a number of progress as well, but he has to overtake some AM drivers, and he's also under pressure from another AM driver currently. So, Ivano Chensoy looking to go on the outside, or maybe a bit wide. I think that might probably close the door, I guess, on an opportunity to overtake. But, well, not really, as Dieringer goes wide, and Chensoy up into P15. And yeah,
Also,
Dieringer
Marshall was looking to sneak one past as well. Dieringer's right, looking for the over/under as they exit the toe, the boot section, but not quite close enough. But we'll see if they got enough traction to get a good braking into the heel. Not quite.
Right, yeah,
they're changing of positions here. Assetto the Empire also trying to push through after some.
Whoa, that's a bold dive done inside.
Out of T9. Oh, that's a corner that I'd comfortably like to go too wide in.
I saw Chensoy. Chensoy dropping back.
What happened to Ivano?
Yeah.
Did he just get it?
Oh, it's good. Oh no! Ooh, tail end goes.
I think either that was a little bit of ambition over adhesion, or maybe Ivano fell victim to an infamous little bump that's on the inside of turn 9 there. Surprisingly vicious corner turn 9 with the bump on the inside, making it very easy for a lot of cars to lose their traction as you in a critical point of the corner because it's right in the centre. But it's still early. There's a good chance if Ivano's car is not too damaged that he can still regain positions from that move. 52 minutes to go, still time. Although, you mentioned the timing sheets earlier, Alvin Wong has run away with a 4-second lead already.
Wow, Chensoy being quite aggressive into the bus stop chicane as well, pulling some drifts along the way too. And well, would you look at this? A battle for P2 right now going on between Nakamata, Donald Young, and of course Etron de Jong. Going on the outside goes the Bentley of Young. Okay, just slots back in the middle, and yes, while he's attacking, he's also having to defend from the yellow McLaren from the. Oh my goodness! I think there was contact. Oh, there was contact between De Jong and Young. I think there was a bit of a boot at the back from De Jong, and that caused Young to lose control over his car there. So yeah, that might need to be looked at by the stewards for that. But yeah, not a good day to start with for De Jong, and of course for Young as well. He's lost quite a number. He's lost quite a number of positions. I think he's down to P6 overall too. Kuroko, new debutant in the race, got up one position too, up to P5. That's still Marsh. That was yeah. Oh no, never mind. I thought Marsh could save it, but apparently they spun it back. Yeah, Porsche being the kind of widowmaker in a way of
a little bit too much curve on the inside. Upset the rear. It was just a very valiant attempt to try and save the car on a very awkward part of the track.
Yeah,
well,
I'd say like I'd say they mashed the throttle along the way as well, which is honestly not really ideal in a Porsche. So yeah, having its engine at the back, having its balance being off-putting a bit in a way, being at the back of the car surely made it a bit of a harder time to recover from a spin. Well, as we say that, they've plonked onto the curbs and went into, well, not really into the barriers, but being stopped on the side of the runoff area at the bus stop chicane. Wow, really rough day then for Marsh. They also started well too in the AM position as well, but currently looking back at De Jong, looking to overtake Kuroko at the moment. Maybe looking down inside, not really, still keeping a gap, but of course the huge run definitely into the back straight, coming out into 2 turns time.
Yeah, the main thing is sort of on the exit of turn 1 is to get a good exit, so you get your power down early enough to maintain momentum all the way up through the S's onto this back straight, utilising all the traction you've got and the slipstream. As e-tron thinks about a move up the inside, but decides better of it. Although very much pushing that McLaren to the ragged edge, trying to pass that very wide Aston Martin of Kuroko there.
Yeah, I mean,
Stuff
on the
and-
back straight, like the Aston definitely has an advantage on top speed as well. You know, I might say as well with the Bentley because, well, Young has caught up with De Jong. You know, so maybe there's part 2 of this happening. But
Ooh,
so
Young
far,
has to get
so far
out of
looking
that and
clean.
hits the flash-ups.
Yeah,
He
so far
tried to
looking
use the momentum
clean-ish.
through the corner.
Ooh, right on the outside.
Trying it on the outside of the heel. Very ambitious stuff between these drivers. Hopefully, no ill will comes between them after the incident a couple laps ago. Because the last thing that either of these two drivers want is to be battling each other when they could close down the gap to Nekamata and Wong ahead. It's again down around the outside of the final corner. But who will get the superior traction out of the final corner towards turn 1? Young very tight in the slipstream, pulling out the last minute, a little bit of contact, a slight misjudgment perhaps. Going around, trying to go again around the outside, forcing De Jong to take a tight line, side by side on the exit curb, side by side into the S's. Now, who will yield? Because with the mechanical and downforce limits of GT3 cars, not usually wise to go side by side, and De Jong yields for now. However, I don't think this battle is over just yet. Note as he pulls out of the slipstream, tries to scoop Young into a mistake, but not doing so. That Bentley seems very stable through the bus stop, albeit out in the loop. Sorry.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, being a front engine car, definitely an advantage for the Bentley in terms of stability as well. You know, as Kuroko, apart from having a straight line advantage, also has the stability part sorted out. I believe, like, talking about Kuroko, I think like they had a bit of a discussion as well with the you know, trying out the Aston, and of course, as I said, they had really good wet pace in their practice running, and I'm not sure what has happened. Our broadcast seems to be a bit buggy right now, but it's alright because we've just gotten back to the feed and we can see that Kuroko has lost 2 positions. Not sure what happened there.
Made an aggressive move into the heel, and e-tron De Jong, not wanting to lose any time, also made a move on the inside as well. So apologies for the brief technical hiccup there, but we'll be sure to keep you in the loop if we miss anything. For now,
yeah, indeed.
15 minutes after the first 15 minutes of the race, it's Alvin Wong with a 6.5 second lead, followed by Ruby Nakamata. Wan Shi Lin with a roughly 5.5 second gap. Then two athletes here, Darryl Young and e-tron De Jong, but still fighting close with one another. Then Kuroko and our leader behind in the Porsche. As we see, somebody covered a little bit of smoke there, but just a little bit of pushing the limits, maybe, of Agoston Bata.
Right. So yeah, so someone was kicking up the dust for a bit, maybe to gain a bit of an advantage, to spook someone at the back. But yeah, Young, so far looking quite good in terms of you know, keeping on track and defending from the probably furious yellow McLaren at the back of De Jong. So De Jong still looking to make up ground after I would say spin, but after contact with Young, which made the latter spun around a bit, and yeah, currently looking back at the Anfield at the moment, we have a 4-car battle at the moment with Chen Soy, Brunch, Gary Slater, and Katerinakis. So, yeah, these four drivers are definitely fighting it out. Even though it's on the bottom end, of course, these drivers still want the bragging rights, basically.
Absolutely. We quickly switch back again to De Jong and Darryl Young. E-tron seeing if maybe he got a slightly better exit out of T1 and the run up through the S's this time. But that Bentley must be set up to be very slippery in a straight line, because despite E-tron's attempts at trying to spook and maybe see if he can force a move up the inside, not quite able to make the pass into the inner loop. Very sort of tough to it's awkward to make certain passes around here because you're on the limit of the car's abilities as is in GT3.
Yeah, I mean,
due to its
really,
awkward nature, where the apex speeds are on that awkward point where you're starting to maybe ask too much of the tyres, but the aerodynamics haven't quite kicked in. But very interesting part between these two. I feel it's one that's going to be going on all race long.
yeah, and actually, I'm looking at the timing field right now, and as you can see, actually, Kirihara climbs up a position from Nastra. I'm not sure what happened between these two earlier because I saw briefly earlier. These two were who were actually next to each other. So yeah, maybe they had a battle. I'm not sure what happened to Nastra because they lost quite a number of positions to Hoplet and Julian Strasser. So yeah, currently the two technical drivers, both of them are on the podium right now. But of course, their mission is not over yet because the AHAM Championship leader at the moment, Kirihara, looking to climb a number of positions as well, having to overtake Scott Brewer and Isaac Umbras ahead of him before getting to Augusto Zapata. And you know what? As we see, as we cut to Scott Brewer right now, they're having a battle with Umbras currently. Almost the same position, kind of, but I think Brewer had the better run, at least through turn 2 and 3. But yeah, who's gonna be the late breaker into the bus stop chicane? That's gonna be Brewer, and I think Isaac may have thought better of it and probably let Brewer through for once. So yeah, well done to the McLaren drivers. Now he's up to P8.
Indeed.
Now we
sort
come
of
back to
using the bonus, the strengths of that very slippery McLaren 720S Evo to get one over on Isaac Umbras and the very large Mercedes AMG. Not that either are bad cars, but I think the McLaren definitely seemed to have a clear advantage there. But as you were right in saying, back onto board with another McLaren now, of e-tron De Jong, still on the rear of Darryl Young, trying to see if they can find a way past, but these two really having quite a heated battle.
Yeah, indeed. So so far these drivers haven't pitted yet for a mandatory pit stop. But of course, it might happen halfway through the race, maybe. So yeah, we shall see who jumps the gun first. Because I'm not sure if the Glen has a bit of an advantage when it comes to undercutting someone. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it usually depends more on the driver's pace. So someone that's driven a variety of cars, both GT3 and prototypes, it's irrespective of sim, it's primarily around to the driver's pace, because the battle between these two, it's going to be a case of who can not only keep their lap times consistent. As looking at the delta between the last two, e-tron had a slight advantage of about 2 to 3 tenths, but that might, as we've been seeing, it's not quite enough to get past the that very wide Bentley.
Right now.
But looking at the pace, sorry, you're right, I'm bored with Scott Brewer, all over the rear of that Porsche 911, closing the gap. Returns, trying to use the advantage that McLaren has a little bit, maybe a bit tiny aggressive on exit, looking at the rear come out a little bit.
Oh, someone's in the pits, apparently. Ooh. So I think Oh, disconnected. Right. So now back on board with Scott Brewer. Right now, chasing close to chasing Bata in the Porsche. Definitely not for position in class because currently Bata is the leader in AM as of currently. So Brewer definitely has to get a move on if he wants to get up to Young. Actually, Young just pitted, or well, we haven't seen him. Young just disappeared from our timing sheets right now. Something must have happened. Maybe a bit of a hardware issue of some sorts.
I'm also hearing reports from the likes of Cosmo Marsh and Tina Curtis, a couple of our other drivers that were in the field earlier today, that they're also suffering with network connections. So something unusual going on with today's server, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. So not sure what's going on with some of the drivers' connections at the moment, but the race still goes on. So we're looking at De Jong. Not sure what happened there, but now De Jong gets a bit of a relief and goes up to P4. Now chasing Yuan Shilin. Right now we're looking at a 4-car battle currently going on with Vano Chensoy. With Gary Slater, Katherinakis, Chensoy, and actually it's not Deering at the back. It's one of the Pennant Formula cars. I think that's George. Ooh,
Yes,
Slater
George
goes a bit
after-
wide, but yeah.
Yeah. George is. Oh, Ivana goes very.
Oh, that's wide.
Yeah.
Into the
Not
wall.
going to be ideal. I don't quite know if he was spooked or whether he just got in the marbles and the Ferrari just refused to cooperate as soon as he touched the marbles around here. Because that's one thing I've definitely fallen afoul of. You touch the marbles, you're not going to have a fun time, especially in a mid-high-speed corner like the chute. Oh,
Right,
yeah,
oh.
it's definitely not looking healthy as weaving onto the grass. Maybe with some front-end steering damage after that contact.
Yes, some sustained damage on the 488. But as we're looking back at Jordan Brunch, currently climbing up positions as well. This is a battle for P4 in the AM class as of currently. So, yeah, currently the Lexus does look quite good around Glen. Having driven one myself in Glen, but that was back then. That was like last year, I believe. Yeah, the Lexus seems to be pretty good at the Glen. But as of now, we are looking at Jordan Brunch, looking to overtake in his Lexus the Audi R8 R8 Evo 2. On the back straight, the Lexus has
just with a very strong run through the S's there. Maybe that Audi of Suk's running more downforce than expected. Suk's trying to run the defensive line on the inside of the inner loop, but not being able to do much to stop the power of that V8 powered Lexus.
Jordan it's a bit wide.
Bring his way through.
Yeah, there's a little wide from Brunch, but as long as he can keep it together throughout the next few corners, he should be good.
As long as you don't get a trap warning from the stewards, it's perfectly legal. It's fine.
Definitely. I mean, to be fair, like track limits are a little bit lenient when it comes to GT3s. I mean, as long as you, I guess you can go to the far ends of the curve, as we see from the background as well. Kirihara doing being an example of that. Pretty sure that's not going to be a penalty because some forms of motorsports have white lines to distinguish track limits, and for some, it's just the end of the curbs, or if you could just lift off of the throttle and rejoin the track safely, you should be fine.
Indeed, I believe we follow the SRO rule set here, or the ACO. I will have to double check on my spare time to be sure for next round. I believe it is the SRO rule set.
Yeah, ACO is more. Some of them had white lines as well in there, but yeah, definitely. I believe this one is definitely SRO. As we see, Isaac Umbras looking to overtake Bata, but yeah, Bata. I would say Bata's losing pace right now. He might as well be, but yeah, because look who's behind there. Kirihara, our AM championship leader, looking looking to retake the lead of the race as well. And as we see, Umbrus going on around the outside. From the other side of this corner here. Yeah, job done. Job done for the American driver. But yeah, now pressure is on for the Porsche driver behind Umbrus right now, Bata, because right behind him is a furious blue Aston Martin, looking to make up a lot of ground after a disastrous qualifying from them. Yeah, we might focus on this one as well, because things might happen in the meantime, as we see Ruby Nikomata into the pits for their mandatory pit stop. Yeah, looking to I would say jump the gun here, but I think so far they are looking pretty well and swell for a solid position up at the up in the field.
Yeah, not quite at the 30-minute mark here, so I believe maybe Ruby might be believing she'd be better off trying the undercut on Alvin Wong and those around her. As we are looking at about between Kirihara and Bata. Kirihara with a very impressive recovery after a less than desirable run in qualifying due to the unexpected weather conditions. Making up a lot of positions, currently P8 overall, P2 in class. A very stellar drive today, even if nothing else should go their way. Very strong recovery from Kirihara, really pushing them. It's running very good lap time, sort of their best lap 44.9, averaging roughly around a low to mid 45. Very impressive stuff. They put me to shame, and that's by no means an insult. It's very impressive performance from Kirihara here today.
Yeah, definitely. And I was gonna say, looking at this battle at the moment, Kirihara definitely posts some really good lap times as well in the Glen. However, he needs to remember he has to keep his head down as well, because as we've seen quite a number of times, he's been quite aggressive when it comes to overtaking, but most of the time it went quite south, if you ask me. But yeah, at the moment all Kirihara has to do is mount pressure on Bata. Currently Bata is not looking Bata's looking pretty average when it comes to pace, but as long as he can go, yeah, that is quite questionable from Bata, because they entered the pit lane, crossing into the pit entry line. So if you're unaware, this race basically, this track, if you want to enter the pit lane, you have to commit to the right side of the track on the final corner, because the yellow line, which defines the pit entry, is there. So yeah, I believe the stewards will have a look at that, maybe. But
absolutely, it's with the nature of the last corner and the pit lens line being where it is, you must, in 99% of cases, to the best of my understanding, abide by the pit blend line both on entry and exit for safety grounds, if nothing else. Something that would definitely raise the stewards' eyebrows should they get a chance to look at it, because I've seen dives like that before in my other racing endeavours, and it's not smart to make a late move like that, especially if you've got somebody close behind.
Right, yeah, there you go. There's that yellow line that we just talked about earlier. So Bata, I believe, might be in a costly mistake there. So yeah, oh my goodness! Oh, that was very close from De Jong. Yeah, as we look, this is Bata for P2.
Sorry for talking over you. We're really bad with doing that today. I do apologise, Psycho. But E-tron again seems to be slightly outbraking himself whilst chasing down another car when in close competition, maybe starting to feel the pressure of today's event, because it's not the first. Obviously, they had the contact with Young early on, but yeah, E-tron.
What is happening? Lynn just slowed down.
They believe they must have had a moment over the bus stop there, as our producer tries to find the moment in the replay. Bear with us.
Oh, right.
Yeah, looking at how they exited the corner, they must have. a bit of mid-corner instability. Looking at how they were exiting the second half of the inner loop, that must have been some mid-corner instability that caught them off guard. As someone that has had many an accident at the inner loop, I can speak from experience. I think not my brightest moments, to put it politely.
Yeah, it just so happens that both of us were in the midst of that action, right? But yeah. Anyway, we're just speaking from first-hand experience. All I can say is I got a code brown from that. Oh, this is stop go 30 for Ryoma Kirihara, our championship AM championship leader. Currently, oh my goodness, what is going on in this race right now? From Batter's questionable entry into the pit lane to Kirihara's top go 30 for speeding in the pit lane. And I was going to point out as well, our current our net race leader, Alvin Wong, has already served a pit stop. So De Jong, currently in the lead of the race at the moment, is might need to up the pace at the moment before he serves his pit stop.
Indeed, although back to Kirihara, that's going to be quite a damaging blow for his performance today. I imagine they were just going a little bit too hot into pit entry, feeling maybe a little overconfident with the performance they've put on so far, and just a couple kilometers an hour over that pit speed line. And the stewards are incredibly strict when it comes to pit entry speed. It does not take much further to meet the eye of the stewards when it comes to safety. So that's really going to put a dampener on Kirihara's drive. However, it's not over yet. We do have 27 minutes to go.
And actually, that also means that, Batter's technically still in the lead, but, behind him, Nabil Nasran actually has already served their pit stop earlier. That's why they dropped down quite a lot of positions, like 10 minutes back. So, I think Sooks and Slater, so our top two in the AM class at the moment, are currently in the pits to serve their mandatory pit stop. And I thought that was another stop and go. Ooh, a bit of a cross, but it wasn't fully crossed. So I think maybe give a benefit of the doubt there for De Jong into the pits.
Yeah, that looked fine for De Jong. He made his intent clear, staying to the right of the final corner, so I don't imagine the stewards would be too concerned over De Jong's entry. But will Scott Brewer come in behind? Yes, he will.
I saw the yellow pit lane. I saw the yellow pit line earlier, and I think Brewer might have crossed it. I'm not sure if he's in the safe position to do so, but
it'd be for us stewards to decide.
Yeah,
from what I'm seeing, so a lot of these they're looking okay. The only one, of course, mentioned earlier. Not that I am the powers that be. I would never claim to be. I do not make such decisions. The only one, of course, concerned was Batter's very late dive, and that's purely on safety grounds. But you were right with Alvin Wong has come round after the pit cycle working through itself, still in the net lead with Bob Poplet yet to hit. So Alvin, very impressive gap that they built up on the start, serving them wonders.
So pretty chill race from Wong as it stands at the moment. So if things go this way, I think Wong would be able to extend their championship lead, and of course bring the title to a close in the upcoming Silverstone round in 2 weeks' time. Kirihara has his reminder still to serve their stop go 30 for speeding in the pit lane. Hopefully, he did get the message. If he doesn't serve it at the end of this lap, he will be disqualified. So hopefully he got the message.
Yep.
But yeah, not a good day for the Malaysian current championship leader as well. Because things are looking up for him, because he at the start of the season he wasn't racing with Technobus, despite racing for them in V-Track as well. But currently, they had some circumstances, special circumstances going on, and decided that Kirihara jumps back on board to replace the departing Tim Berggren. I wouldn't say departing, but more like they they departed the team recently. So yeah, Kirihara, of course, is gonna have to get some pace going on, because I believe they might drop quite a number of positions off the podium as well. So yeah, not a good day for the Malaysian.
Although, what is unfortunate for Kirihara, it's been quite a boon for Agoston Bata, managing to get a fairly good dry qualifying timing to start up amongst the mid-pack of the pro class, giving them a good advantage as the weather conditions change in qualifying, and ever since then just ran a clean race, kept themselves out of trouble, allowed the pro class drivers to find their way past them with relative ease. So a very, maybe not exciting race compared to the likes of Kirihara with their impressive climb before this unfortunate penalty, but sometimes the best races are often the cleanest ones, as Bata is currently, touch wood, proving. I would not want to jinx people. I am sick of getting accused of giving the commentators curse.
So do you want me to join you in that?
You can take the lead on the commentators curse if you want. I've had the fingers pointed in my direction already this season.
I mean, technically, this is my second commentator's curse, because we saw Kirihara getting the penalty on the pit stop. So yeah,
anything happens to anybody else. It's just my mindset. I don't wish ill upon people. I just want to see good racing, and although the field may have spread out so far, I've still seen a good bunch of racing between our competitors today, even if things were a bit chaotic at the start, even as we've had a couple of network-related issues and lost a few of our drivers, unfortunately. But those that are still running, putting in very respectable performances given their position in the field. Qualifying maybe not going well for some, but we've still got just over 20 minutes to go. It's surprising what can change in roughly half an hour. To be cheesy and quote one of my favourite songs from the band Enter Shikari, just purely by title, anything can happen in the next half hour.
Indeed.
Plenty of time. I've probably aged myself massively with that dumb reference being a song from 2008, but forget it. Why not?
Nah, don't worry about it. Okay, it was worth a try. But as we get back to the race for a bit, Bata. I was going to point out as well, Bata had really good pace at the beginning as well. Currently looking to that was a bit of a questionable moment. But as I was saying, Bata looking to overtake Brewer for, well, I wouldn't say this is position for class. If anything, it's mostly overall. But of course, for these races, we have bragging rights to contend with. So, of course, one has to finish ahead of the other, irrespective of their classes, pretty much. So, I'm pretty sure Bata, having their newfound pace after the pit stop, is definitely looking to, get some ground going on. Brewer, actually, there was a bit of a slide going through the toe. Is it
maybe a little bit? Yes, it is the toe. Maybe a little bit aggressive through the toe there. Agoston Bata,
a little bit aggressive. I think he has to watch out for a bit.
Yeah, really showing a lot of consistency rather than raw speed. With a lot of the pace being quite similar to Brewer ahead. Both of them averaging mid to high 45, 1 minute 45 lap times here. So maybe towards the end of the race, Bata will either sit behind Brewer or might become a little bit of a pest. But like you said, there'd be no advantage gained by trying to overtake Brewer, and hopefully Bata knows that. But again, bragging rights. We are both racing drivers, are we not, Psycho? We know that it's that little bit of ego boost just to say that I'm in the lower class, but I beat you.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've already seen like a bit of a dilemma going on at Suzuka. I think that what's going on here?
Brunch getting a little loose behind Marcel Schutz, sorry. I'm making a complete plum of myself with the names today. I apologise to our competitors. If I had a working brain, that would be dangerous, but Brunch very close to the rear of that Audi there.
This is
Seems
actually a
bit
battle for the podium position as well.
That's it.
Ooh, real wild from
Yeah,
yeah.
fighting aggressively for the podium of AM class. Duke's
On the
really
outside.
squeezing
Oh!
Jordan wide. Jordan overlap just around the outside.
Oh.
Nailed it, Jordan. Well done. Well done. Admittedly, I've only known Jordan since like the start of last year, early this year, but I've raced with him both in the same car and on track, and that was a very well executed move there from Jordan Brunch, leaving
really bold
despite
as
getting despite getting squeezed by Shoops on the inside of him. Jordan held that outer line through turn one, maintained momentum, managed to keep it up and just go around the outside of Shoops' Audi there. Although, by the look of that driving, Shoops is not going to let that one go so easily, despite the gap in that grew quite quickly between them. So this battle will not be over until the end, I believe. But very respectful, if not feisty driving between these two.
Well, we're gonna have to wait for part 2 of this battle because, like when Jordan did that overtake earlier, it was kind of reminiscent of like my one-off race at TGT. Ironically enough, it was at this track. I think it was like a few seasons back last year, but I think I did the same move, but it's not on the outside, it's more on the inside. And it was also on an Audi, and I was driving the Lexus, so it had a bit of a nostalgia trip in a way when I looked through it. But of course, Brunch, getting that final spot on the podium position at the moment.
As we see
definitely
the Mustang there, yielding track position to Strasser and Assetto Jampire. Perhaps maybe later than Asa would have wanted, with a gap between the two dropping from what was roughly a second at the start of lap down to like 3/10. Strasser really chasing down that BMW there of the Blahai Cuddlers Unanimous. God, I think my brain stopped working after reading that one. I'm just joking. I'm just teasing Asa there. That blue and white BMW there. Car I know very well personally. Maybe not the best driver for the car, but Asa trying to maintain whatever advantage she can over our overlord Julian Strasser. Bit of a very well-known Bentley fan there, in the Wild Things X tracc.eu.
Yeah, rocking that Nations Cup livery actually, but very, very, very distinct, and of course very, very British.
Indeed,
Ooh, that was a moment in the dirt. There was a bit of a dirt moment in with Julian, with Strasser for a bit, still chasing Janpire, still chasing Aston Janpire for position, and right ahead of them is Nabil Nasran there in AM. He's in AM and currently placed in P2 right now. Still gaining a bit of position, gaining a bit of time on Umbras, but nose to tail.
Basically trying to find a way past the AM driver there, but that Aston Martin is very wide, not deliberately trying to hold up anybody. There'd be no advantage to doing so, but it's really trying to build the gap between herself and Strasser there. So not ideal, but traffic management is all part of this racing. As again, Aston slightly closes the gap, but opens it a bit more and exit, allowing the Empire passed around the outside.
Oh, Strasser looking to overtake on the outside. Needs a bit of rotation there. And flashing his lights, probably not satisfied with Nasran. But of course this is for position, it's not a lapped car. So definitely they are free to race as they are. So
indeed.
But that's gonna give a huge time loss for Strasser, because Aston Janpai is already pulling away from Strasser after overtaking Nasran.
Yeah, Strasser really wants
power sliding there as well, for good measure.
The two British cars sort of really struggling to get past one another. Rather wide, very sort of big growly engines, as it were.
Nations rivalry going on right now. Pretty interesting as we see Strasser looking down the inside and side by side into turn one. Oh, nice run. A bit of a late braking move there, but Strasser moves up a position into P10.
Yeah, I believe Nastrom probably decided it wasn't worth the hassle. They've got P2 in the bag with roughly 15 minutes to go, touch wood. Because knowing my luck, I'll get myself in trouble if anything happens. Probably decided there's not much point holding up Julian because there wouldn't be any benefit to doing so other than just track position.
Fire spawn! Asa spawn!
She gets loose over the curbing of the inner loop there. Where did she take too much curbing? It was the inside, the first left-hander of the inside of the bus of the inner loop, just doing enough to unsettle the car and cause it to spin round. Very frustrating, absolute, and sometimes mystifying.
Yeah, this was actually reminiscent of her previous outing in V-Track. That was like she also raced in Glen, so she also had a similar kind of spin. I think it was lap 2 or lap 3, and yeah. Same spot too, except a bit further up on the exit of the whole bus stop complex. But yeah, definitely not a good corner for Asa Empire to negotiate through, to be honest.
I know from my own experiences in preparing for a previous V-Track round here at Watkins Glen, the BMW in certain cases, depending on your setup, can be, if you take that just a little bit too much curbing, it can unsettle the rear of the car, and it will react as we just saw there, which is very unfortunate because Asa was putting in some good effort there, building a gap to Julian Strasser, but just that little bit too much curbing, a little touch of the grass, just enough to unsettle the car and send it round, unfortunately.
Yeah, really unfortunate from the Australian there. But yeah, looking down the grid for a bit, we are looking at Ryoma Kirihara. Earlier was in the running for the lead of the AM class earlier, before getting handed a stop-go 30 for a pit lane speed limiter issue. So. Yeah, Kirihara currently is looking to climb up the grid. I think he was behind Jensoi after he came out of pits to serve the penalty. And yeah, looking to overtake Gary Slater at the moment. He's just on a mission to salvage what he can from the costly penalty that took place earlier as well.
Just depends if he can find a clean way past Gary Slater in that 296 Ferrari there. Maybe not my personal car of choice, but I know that in the right hands that Ferrari is very capable around here. Just as in Kirihara's hands, that Aston is proved to be a very effective vehicle. Tries to go, thought that Gary was going to go take the normal race line, but Gary runs the defensive side by side through the toe, going for the over-under as we see a Mustang off the head, I believe.
Oh, that's Katrinakis, I believe.
Yeah, Kirihara looking up inside there.
Oh, running wide. What is going on with the Mustang earlier? Yeah, what's going on with the Mustang? I wonder. Something must have happened actually, because I saw like a trail of dirt flying up in the air as we were watching Kirihara. Oh, yeah, a bit of an oversteer. Like the Mustang is pretty tail happy when it comes to like medium, maybe low speed corners as well. So having tested the car before, I was thinking of like switching to the Mustang for the funsies. But having driven the car, honestly, it's not. I don't think it's right for my driving style. And all I can say is like it's quite tail happy in a way.
So we see Bob Poplet in the pits unexpectedly.
To
our source. No, you should not be any need for a splash and dash. Maybe there was contact to cut him and somebody else, I believe.
I think Poplet was behind Strasser when that happened, so I'm not sure what has happened between them. but hopefully nothing too bad that came out of it. Yeah, as we see, actually, Kirihara has jumped up a spot on Gary Slater and Katrinakis, yeah. So he's up now to P5. P5 in class right now.
Kirihara clearly pushing that Aston to its limits and trying to recover what he can from this race. A very unfortunate qualifying, and again, a very unfortunate penalty to Kirihara, despite his very, very good efforts in the race today.
Oh, indeed. There was a brief yellow flag earlier. Oh, well, there's another yellow flag. Not sure what was happened there. But, yeah, now, with under 10 minutes remaining, of course, I'm not sure if this is sunset or sunrise. I believe this is sunset, right? It is dusk. Yeah,
it's
really,
6:57 p.m. We're close to sunset, yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm a bit dumb. I didn't see the time.
Fine.
Up there. Ooh, my gosh. Okay. A bit sketchy from Katrinakis. I think letting go of a lapped car. That was Yuan Shi Lin in the GTR, is currently running in P4 right now. So yeah, as we go through the rundown of the timing sheets for a bit. Currently we have Alvin Wong still in the lead of the race, dominating from start to the end. Maybe a Grand Chelem coming their way, and then followed by Ruby Nikomata in the number 1 BMW, and then in third we have De Jong, still chasing for Nikomata, but currently negotiating through some lap traffic. That was veering ahead in the green Reiter. And yeah, in P4 we have Yuan Shi Lin. And P4 we have Yuan Shi Lin. Yeah, very solid result for them as well. Despite missing out on the podium earlier. But as we move down the grid, we have Kuroko in the 888. In the 888 Aston Martin, we saw them in action earlier, and yeah, I mean in the debut race, yeah, really well done for them. Yeah, moving down the grid still, we have Scott Brewer in P6, and then Augusto Mbata in the lead of the AM class currently. Yeah, still really good showing, really strong showing from the Porsche, from the Hungarian driver. And yeah, is most likely looking to seal the win for this race. Yeah, moving down the rest of the grid, we have Isaac Umbras in the Mercedes, Julian Strasser in the Bentley, Nabil Nasran in P2, P2 in class, mind you. And then moving still down the grid, we have Asen Yanpaya with a bit of a damaged car, I would say. And then there's Jordan Brunch in P3 in the AM class, and then Sux in the Audi, P4 in the AM class, and then Michael Dieringer, number 7 Green Reiter in P14 overall, and then we have Kirihara, Gary Slater, Katrinakis, Ivano Chensoy, Adrian Dubrovka, and Bo Camp rounding out the top 20 overall. And then Kaito Nasa, Poplit, and Albert George. You know, I was going to mention Albert George is having a really rough day. 4 laps down on the rest of the field as well. The nearest car ahead of him, too. So
yeah, unfortunately, Albert, I believe, was caught up in a earlier lap one instant with the concrete bollards at the inner loop. Unlike other sims that have this track, there are concrete bollards here to stop you from cutting the track, because with this track having multiple layouts, as we ride on board with Gary Slater, although I see the 316 off at the bus stop of Scott Brewer.
Oh no. Yep, pit windows closed, everyone has to get pit stop. Now we are in the final
there
5
stop. Oh, facing backwards, that's not the direction you should be facing in. So I wonder what happened to Brewer
the bus
there.
stop. Yeah, they had a moment in the bus stop then. Yeah, a bit of damage for the 316 McLaren. It's gonna drop down a place, basically, to Goston Bata. But yeah, still number of drivers still looking pretty fine. And yeah, so far, what are your thoughts on this race? You know, as we've commentated through most of it, you know.
Yeah. Well, Wong's sort of dominated the race from start to finish so far with touch wood, just over 5 minutes to go. Clear start from start to finish, able to get in a very good qualifying lap before the rain came down. Had a good start on pole, managed to avoid getting in any battles with their counterparts like Nekomata, De Jong, Lin, and Dara Young, who unfortunately DNF today. Unfortunate to see. Oh, sorry, something interrupted me on my end. I do apologise. Other than that, I'd say that Batter in the 55 Porsche has really put on a strong performance. A consistently quiet and clean performance today for the AM class. Able to get a good qualifying run despite the variable conditions in qualifying, and just kept themselves to themselves, kept things quiet. Hasn't made themselves too much of a problem for any of the pro drivers wishing to pass, as we ride on board with Dieringer in the Reiter, closely followed by Kirihara, still trying to recover from earlier stuff, but like we said before, these two are racing for track position. Would not be
they're not in the same class, so but of course, bragging rights for these drivers pretty much. And of course, for Kirihara, he has a more important mission of gaining back the positions he lost due to his humble 30 penalty from earlier. As he goes down inside of the Reiter, might have pushed them off a bit. So not a good look for the number 128 Aston there. But of course, that means he's going to have to do it again.
Indeed. Maybe not how they wanted it to go, but of course.
I mean, it's bound to happen at some point.
Again, still making some very aggressive moves, trying to still recover with just under 3 minutes to go now. Although I'd be curious to wonder how they can make up such time with such the delta they have to the car ahead with this much time remaining. I don't think it's feasible outside of any outside influence. Touchwood, there isn't any. So we go on board.
Brunch and Suk still battling each other. Wow.
Yeah, these two have been having a right old ding dong between most of the race, keeping it clean from what I can see, but also very Suk's
having very aggressive
to its limits.
But compromise its exit there as well as a result. But seeing Alexis and an Audi together might bring some bad memories for some, but this time we are greeted by a wonderful sight of them battling each other, well, in a very clean manner as well. We got to see some ballsy overtakes from the two of them, but really good. And it's also for a podium position, as we see Brewer and Umbris currently having a battle of their own. Brewer just overtook Umbris for position after having a spin at the bus stop chicane, and is currently looking to gain more positions, but the next car ahead is a car from a different class, which is Batter. If Batter's already up there quite a lot, I'm not sure if a promotion is inbound for the number 55 Porsche. Well, what do you think? Having seen
that
this
one to the stewards, if I tend to get myself in trouble when I open my mouth, and it's never with any ill intent or malice, but if I speak big trouble, I tend to be in trouble. But no, if any, with sort of class decisions aside, it's been a very good race for Batter, and a very good race for Alvin Wong, as I believe we are coming to the final lap now, perhaps.
Yeah, it's going to be the end of the final lap.
3, 2, 1, what the Americans call the white flag lap, but this is the checkered flag. It's the white flag lap, so anybody behind... Oh, no, it's the checkered flag.
No, it's the checkered flag. There's no white flag rule in here. So, there you go. Alvin Wong crossed the finish line to take home another win in the Tracc GT3 Cup. Right here, extending his championship lead, and as we see still, Isaac Umbris and Scott Brewer still battling with each other, and we just see on the timing sheets, Ruby Nekomata crossed the finish line P2, really strong result from from the Panon Formula driver. And then Etran de Jong got V3. Could have been better for him, but of course, you know, of course, anything can happen in the championship, in the whole championship, basically. But still, well done to him for getting third place overall, and in the pro class too. Yeah. Do you reckon Umbros is gonna attempt an overtake? I don't think they.
I mean,
I don't think
I
he
don't
has
think
enough
I don't think
corners
he's
to do
close enough,
so.
but on the final lap, anything's possible. Isaac is known to
Mm.
make good use of the traction that Mercedes does have with that big V8 motor. But again, the strengths of the McLaren here in the mid corners, as you can see Isaac pushing very wide over the exit curbing there.
Yeah.
But not quite enough, unfortunately, to make the pass.
Indeed,
But no,
and they crossed the
good
finish
driving from a
line.
lot of the drivers
Yeah.
today. Lots
Yeah,
of
good
very
driving.
impressive performances across the field. Some with some moments that maybe less than ideal, but yeah.
But
From what I've
yeah,
seen, most of the race today have been
Agustin Bata
very good.
takes home the win for AM class, followed by Nabil Nasseran and Jordan Brunch taking his first podium of the season for the AM class. So yeah, well done to everyone else who's been sticking around in track, and yeah, of course, everyone else who are still watching the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in to our broadcast of the tracc.eu GT3 Cup. So, yeah, what are your thoughts now after the race is over? Maybe we could do a bit of a brief rundown, you know?
Yeah, the provisional results as they are certainly sort of key performances stand out to me today, even if maybe they didn't end how they were. Is well, again, Alvin Wong, a very clear start, qualifying start, and pole, leading race start, and running away effectively with the lead. A very clean and clear performance from Wong today. Just what they needed for their championship battle with De Jong, increasing the gap, at least based on provisional results, compared to our
Yeah,
compared to the current standings. Plus, also there was, forgive me, where have they gone? I'm losing track of all my background information. I apologise. Our
that's
new
fine.
debutante today, P5 in her first race.
Kuroko, yeah.
Kuroko, yeah, very impressive
Yeah,
performance from the
indeed.
debutante.
First running. Too bad we don't have wet weather to show to show their wet pace running from all the rumor in the mill basically. But it's fine. Really good result from them as well. Really solid result. And yeah, of course the AM battle brewing on as well. There's gonna be some eyeing on from the stewards regarding some incidents. I hope we don't. I hope we don't become a cause of that, basically. But if anyone, but yeah, basically, all focus would be on Agustin Bata, who won the AM class race today. So yeah, despite that, they still have to keep their eyes peeled, for any infringements just in case. But yeah, still really
Yeah.
good result from them regardless. And I think as of now, they might be back in the lead of the AM class championship.
We'd
But yeah,
have to
that's
get the
been it.
provisional results, but
But yeah, it's fine. Anyway, that's about it for today. I hope you all enjoyed today's round of the tracc.eu GT3 Cup. Yeah, if you want to join the races, you can hop onto our Discord server, linked in the description, and of course, don't forget to like our streams, like our videos, subscribe, and yeah. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Psycho Kaiser and Dirty Go High. And do you want to do the outro? You want to do the final line?
absolutely. Well, thank you all for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the racing from our competitors today. But we shall see you next time in
On the
V-Track.
racetrack.
Exactly, on the racetrack. Thank you and bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Said it.